Welcome back to Untested Builds, the series where we completely ignore Pathfinder lore and just play pop culture characters instead. Since I started the channel, I've received about a dozen requests for more superhero builds. Of those, over half requested Batman specifically. At the time, that was a full 10% of my subscriber base. And if my last decade on the platform has taught me anything, it's that if 10% of the people supporting you want something, well, you bloody well better give it to them. And lo and behold, it's my most watched video on the channel. Not in number of views, mind you, that honor still belongs to Lux, but in minutes watched, the more important metric as far as YouTube is concerned. Well, I'm not one to go against quantifiable data, so my glorious team of testers and I have racked our brains together, and we're here now to present you with another billionaire orphan with entirely too much time on their hands. In case you haven't been looking at the screen for the past 40 seconds, today we're building Iron Man, a character who 20 years ago was just an asshole we all begrudgingly accepted, who became one of the most beloved heroes today, all thanks to the genius idea of having him portrayed by an asshole actor we all begrudgingly accepted. He's basically what would happen if you had legendary crafting and legendary arcana at level 1 and then somehow gained 19 additional levels, then those feats and stats were ported over to Starfinder to gain even more levels. Seriously, if you think Batman is OP with prep time, you haven't seen what Mr. Stark can do when confronted with a problem other than alcoholism. We'll kick this off as a human because the vast majority of media is made for human consumption only. Skilled humans get 2 free boosts that we'll take for strength and intelligence, and we can also choose a skill to become trained in and automatically become an expert in that skill at level 5. We'll choose crafting because every inventor has to start somewhere. Spoilers, I guess. We'll take the royalty background because we're not just any noble, we're a noble with defense contracts and make regular red carpet appearances. That practically makes us American royalty. Doing so gives us 2 free boosts that will take in intelligence and charisma. We also get the courtly graces feat for free, meaning we can use our society skill to make an impression on another noble. Also, if at any point during the build we gain the connections feat, and we will, we automatically gain common and noble connections within our family's territory and gain noble connections outside of that territory. We'll trade our Ancestry feat for an extra level 1 class feat with natural ambition. Because your powers weren't given to you, you had to go out and get them. Sorry for the interruption, everyone, but I've just received a call from Captain America. I know it was him because who else would call from a landline in the year 2020? And he said that if this video becomes the most liked video on the channel, then he's going to help me make builds for the other founding Avengers. But I think we can do better than a mere 39 likes. I told him we can get 50 likes on this video easy, but there's a catch. If we fail, then he's going to have Chris Evans show us his camera roll again, and you all know how that turned out last time. So smash that like button so I don't have to see America's phallus for a second time. We're going to lock in as a wizard because Arthur C. Clarke said I could. We also get an intelligence boost to go with it. For our school, we're going Universalist. Tony didn't stop learning just because he graduated from MIT. Universalist wizards gain an extra level 1 class feat. Hand of the Apprentice is a focus spell that fires a weapon we're wielding to strike our target using our intelligence modifier instead of strength. On a success, we deal the weapon's damage, and on a crit, we double the damage. So, kind of like normal. Iron Man doesn't use any traditional weapons. His armor is his weapon. Keeping in flavor with that, the weapon that we'll be firing with Hand of the Apprentice is a gauntlet for some rocket fist action. The arc reactor may be the thing that powers his suit, but he'd be way less efficient without a reliable onboard AI. For our arcane thesis, we're going improved familiar attunement for a free familiar, and we can also give our familiar more traits than normal as we level. We can give it dark vision and see through its eyes. It can cast spells for us. It can even manipulate items for us. It can even impersonate us to perform menial tasks when we aren't around. Name it Jarvis or Friday or whatever. Probably don't name it Ultron though. Arcane Bond is another class feature that allows us to store energy in an object to cast more spells per day. Yep, we've even got an arc reactor, all at level 1. Since we're a Universalist wizard, we can drain energy from the bonded item a number of times per day equal to the number of spell levels we can cast, and cast a spell we've already prepared that day without spending a spell slot. Oh boy, this is a lot. For our class feat from Natural Ambition, we'll take Spellbook Prodigy to learn spells in half the time. Additionally, we can no longer critically fail, and after a normal failure, we can try again after 1 week. Of course, wizards are a spellcasting class. Wow. So that means we get cantrips and first level spells. Read Aura lets you scan an object and see its magical aura and determine the school of magic the item was created with. Electric Arc forces a reflex save on up to 2 creatures. Failing, they'll take 1d4 plus our intelligence modifier of electricity damage. Light makes an object glow of 1 bulk or less, like a torch, for up to a day, but we can only use this on 1 object at any given moment. Message delivers a short auditory message only the target can hear up to 120 feet. If they want, they can deliver a short response as a reaction or on their turn as a free action. Ant Haul gives you super strength for 8 hours, allowing you to carry an additional 3 more bulk before becoming encumbered, and up to a maximum of 6 more bulk. Shockwave forces a reflex save and a 15-foot cone. Creatures who fail fall prone, and on a critical failure also take 1d6 damage. Smart boys also get lots of skills. You probably want acrobatics, athletics, deception, diplomacy, medicine, and performance, and you're going to get training in those just because. For ability scores, we're improving strength, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. At level 2, we'll take Enhanced Familiar. Now fam can have 5 abilities instead of 3. Bomb mode lets us get quippy in combat by allowing us to make a diplomacy roll against the target's will DC. If we succeed, they take a -2 status penalty to perception and will saves for 1 minute. They can end this early by spending an action to attempt a retort at the GM's discretion. On a crit, the penalty increases to -3, and if we critically fail, we get a -2 penalty instead. We also get another level 1 spell slot. Magic Missile lets us do the shoulder-mounted mini-secret missile thing. With this, we fire 3 bolts of force damage that automatically hit targets we designate and deal 1d4 plus 1 force damage. We can spend up to 2 additional actions to fire additional bolts. Level 3 wizards can cast level 2 spells. Sudden Bolt forces a reflex save on a target. Failing, they take 4d12 electricity damage. Resist Energy can give a creature resistance 5 to acid, cold, electricity, fire, or sonic damage for 10 minutes. Glitter Dust turns on infrared vision in a 10-foot burst, revealing all invisible creatures who do not critically succeed on a reflex save. If they fail or critically fail, they also become dazzled or blinded respectively. We also get a skill increase for Expert Arcana. The Toughness feat increases our maximum HP by our level and makes the DC for our recovery checks 9 plus our dying condition value instead of 10 plus. The man recovers from dying more often than any unenhanced human has any right to. We'll take Energy Ablation at level 4 to gain some passive shields whenever we cast spells, giving us resistance equal to the spell's level of a type of damage the spell can inflict until our next turn. Specialty Crafting gives us a +1 circumstance bonus on crafting checks that fall within a certain category we specialize in. He envisions a suit of armor around the world. That's going to take a lot of blacksmithing. Level 5 wizards get lightning reflexes for expert reflex saves and a skill increase for expert society. We can also cast 3rd level spells. Familiar's Face allows you to see through your familiar senses as long as they are within range of 1 mile. We can also communicate with our own voice or our familiar. Lightning Bolt forces a reflex save and a 120-foot line. Creatures who fail each take 4d12 electricity damage. Paralyze stuns or paralyzes a target for a number of rounds based on a will save. Haughty Obstinacy brings Tony's legendary ego to bear by giving us crits instead of regular successes on saves against mental effects to control our actions, and enemies who fail a coerce check using intimidation against us gain a critical failure instead. We'll use our ability boost to increase strength, constitution, intelligence, and charisma. Magical Crafting allows us to craft magical items, and we immediately add 4 common magic item formulas level 2 or lower to our formula book. Steady Spellcasting allows us to prevent being disrupted during casting a spell by passing a DC 15 check. Our spellcasting is supposed to be technology based, so it should be a little more reliable, right? Level 7 wizards are expert spellcasters who can cast 4th level spells, and there's one spell here that we need more than any other. Fly gives a creature a fly speed of 20 feet or its move speed, whichever is greater, for 5 minutes. We'll take our skill increase from Master Crafting and pick up the Connection skill feat so we can arrange a meeting with a political figure in any place we've spent downtime at a DC determined by our GM. Since we have the royal background, we automatically have connections with nobles and royals in places our family is affiliated with. Mr. Stark isn't limited to old manuals and dusty tomes when crafting, and neither are you. The Inventor feat lets us add new common formulas as we craft the item. So far, we've just been Tony Stark, but he's more than just a man. He's a man in a suit. The Sentinel dedication gives us access to light and medium armor training, but that isn't enough. We're trying to get heavy out here. Level 9 wizards gain magical fortitude for expert fortitude saves. They also get 5th level spells. Tongues lets a target understand and speak any spoken language for an hour. I'm sure there's a universal translator in that thing somewhere. Illusory Scene has a whole bunch of text, but we're going to use it to make sweet holograms in a 30-foot burst like a certain disgruntled ex-employee used to make. I'm sure he's not going to be a problem for our young protege in the future, right? Sending sends a message of 25 words or less to any creature we're familiar with at a planetary range, and they can immediately send a message back if they want. A 12-second phone call is a 5th level spell. Who knew? We'll take our skill increase from Master Arcana. For our Ancestry feat, we'll finally don our iconic suit with the multi-talented feat to take the Champion dedication. We're here strictly for heavy armor training. Tenants and cause don't play a factor into this build. For completionist sake, I'm taking the Tyrant cause because capitalism is the most lawful evil thing imaginable. We do get training in religion and our deity skill. I'm choosing Abadar here, so I went with intimidation since we already have society. At level 10, we'll take Impeccable Crafter for critical successes on regular success when we use our specialty crafting. Mighty Bulwark increases the bonus we normally get to damaging reflex saves from Bulwark on our full plate to +4 instead of +3. Also, this now applies to all reflex saves, not just damaging ones. We'll gain training in nature and use our ability boost for Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Level 11 Wizards gain Alertness for Expert Perception Proficiency and Wizard Weapon Expertise for Expert Proficiency in weapons we won't be using anyway. We'll use our skill increase for Master Society Proficiency. We can also cast 6 level spells. Chain Lightning forces a reflex save on one or more creatures provided the subsequent targets are within 30 feet of the most recent and that creature did not critically succeed their reflex save. Creatures who fail take 8d12 electricity damage. Our scanning tech gets a lot better with True Seeing. This lets us see things as they truly are within 60 feet for 10 minutes, seeing the original forms of transformed creatures, and potentially seeing through illusory abilities too. Disintegrate deals 12d10 damage to an object or creature who fails a Fortitude save. If their HP is reduced to 0, they are killed and ground into a fine powder. Admittedly, we only saw Tony use this once, and he was souped up on space mana and it kinda killed him, but the spell is still sweet. Incredible Investiture lets us invest in 12 magical items instead of just 10. We'll take the Titan Wrestler feat so you can wrestle that one guy from Titan and any other creatures up to 2 sizes larger than you. Magic Sense gives us the constant effects of first level Detect Magic, and whenever we use a Seek action, we gain third level Detect Magic automatically instead. Level 13 Wizards gain Defensive Robes and Weapon Specialization, but we aren't your everyday wizard, so these mean nothing to us. We can also cast 7th level spells. There's a lot of useful stuff here, but the most in-character option would be Heightening Fly up to have the duration of 1 hour. We'll use our skill increase for Expert Athletics so we can actually use Titan Wrestler sometimes. We'll take the Shadow Pact feat for some Bleeding Edge action, allowing us to use our blood to make metal items any number of times per day by casting 5th level creation at the cost of 1 HP. However, we can't make anything too complicated. Can we use this to make a club though? Maybe that weapon specialization isn't completely useless for us. Armor Specialist gives us the armor specialization effects on our full plate, meaning we can gain slashing damage resistance equal to 2 plus the value of the potency rune currently attached to the armor. Universal Versatility gives us an extra focus point and allows us to choose one of the 8 first level school spells to gain for the day during our daily preparations. Level 15 Wizards are Master Spellcasters who can gain 8th level spells. Polar Ray is our big concentrated laser. This is a spell attack against a single creature on a success that deals 10d8 cold damage and gives the target Drain 2. We'll use our skill increase for legendary crafting and take the craft anything feat so that the only limitation on our crafting ability is how much gold we have and if the product has rare or unique requirements. Same ability boosts as last time: Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. We'll pick up Diverse Armor Expert to raise our heavy armor proficiency to Expert. We'll also take Assurance to forego the die roll on crafting checks in favor of a +10 bonus. Level 17 Wizards gain Resolve for Master Will saves and critical success results on regular successes. We'll take our skill increase for Legendary Arcana. We can also cast 9th level spells. Making magic items is kind of our thing, but sometimes they might come back to bite us. Disjunction deactivates a magic item for 1 week if we succeed on a counteract check against it. If we critically succeed, however, the item is simply destroyed instead. Just don't try this on an Infinity Stone, unless you like wasting 9th level spell slots, that is. Meteor Swarm calls for an orbital strike from your personal satellite array. We force a reflex save on all creatures in 4 40-foot bursts within 500 feet that deal 6d10 bludgeoning damage within the center 10-foot area of each burst and 14d6 fire damage to everything in the area. I bet Fury wishes he had one of these. We'll take the Aerialist feat for a +2 circumstance bonus to our acrobatics checks while we're maneuvering in flight, and gain a +5 status bonus to speed while flying. The Unified Theory feat allows us to see all magic for the science it truly is, meaning we can use our Arcana skill for magic-related checks instead of our nature, occultism, or religion. Bonded Focus allows us to recover 2 focus points during a refocus action instead of 1, provided we spend at least 1 point since we last refocused. Not sure if this makes up for only having a focus pool of 2, but it's something, right? Level 19 Wizards are Legendary Spellcasters. Archwizard Spellcraft gives us a 10th level spell slot. Indestructibility boosts our armor to maximum by allowing us to choose what we can and cannot be affected by, short of powers beyond our comprehension, until the start of our next turn. We'll use our skill increase for Legendary Society and take Legendary Codebreaker. You consume and regurgitate technobabble and legal jargon like it's nothing. We can now decipher writing while reading at normal speed, and if we slow down to the usual decipher speed, we understand the document word for word. At level 20, we'll take the Quick Contacts feat to make connections in a new area in just 1 hour instead of 1 day. Re-prepare a spell shows off the infinite power of the arc reactor by allowing us to spend 10 minutes to prepare a spell in a spent spell slot as if we were making daily preparations. However, we can only re-prepare the same spell in a spent slot and only if the slot is 4th level or lower. For our final skill training, we'll take Stealth, and for our final ability boost, we'll increase Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Now that we're level 20, let's look at the pros and cons of this build. For starters, wizards have some of the best utility in the game. We have a variety of damage options and tools for any magic-based encounter our party might be up against. We also have great soft stats to be a decent face to the party, especially if you're dealing with other members of the nobility. We've also got a respectable 43 AC and 228 HP. We're close to being the tankiest possible caster. For cons, it takes a really long time to get our armor online. It was a balancing act between spending valuable general feats for armor proficiency or needing to take class feats to satisfy dedication limitations. I channeled my inner Stark by taking the most efficient options possible, but delaying our expert heavy armor to level 16 still kinda hurts. We also have no weapon capabilities whatsoever. We're not even using simple weapons. If we're in a situation where we can't use our tech, we're gonna have a bad time. But no need to stress, you've got 4.5 marshals on the team to rely on, and they aren't gonna have any trouble hitting in melee. Thanks for tuning in to another build. If you're new here and haven't subscribed, why not join us? We post a new build every week. If there's a character you want to see in the future, let me know in the comments below and you might just see it on the channel soon. In the meantime, I've already got the perfect video picked out for you next right here.